What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing? It is Tuesday already. Another Tuesday, another happy hour. How's everybody going, man? What's new? What's popping? This Tuesday felt like it couldn't have came fast enough for me, y'all. Let's see who's in the chat already. Getting the energy up here. What's going on? Lost Cause, first one in. What's going on, buddy? You have arrived. You are in the right place. There's Mr. French, always in early too. Armed with some Four Roses. What's up? Too slow. How's it going? How's it going? Belgian. Wow. 61% ABV, 11-year-old. I'd say you're starting things off right, Lost Cause. Or maybe this isn't the start for you. Good to see you, man. French has got some single barrel Four Roses. Andrew Page is already in the house. What's up, Andrew Page? How are you? Ooh, one of my favorites, opening up that Glen Scotia 15-year-old. Good stuff, good stuff. All right, early folks. Great to say hi to y'all. Let me set things up for us today. So this week we're going to be checking out some barrel proofs. I got a couple things in the past week, so excited to share some initial thoughts on a couple things that I'll be reviewing in full coming up in the next few weeks. So we got the brand new barrel proof Wild Turkey Rare Breed Rye. Excited about this one. As you can see, I've already tasted a bit of it. We'll get into it a little bit more. Past that neck pour, newest Elijah Craig barrel proof, 12-year, a little bit different label. Stunner. We'll get into those two, of course, our continuing adventures of the now less cloudy Mr. Cloudy. We'll see how things are going with that this week. As you remember last week, things have kind of turned for the better on this. It's not nearly as pungent and funky as it was, but we'll be checking that out again in good measure. And after all that's said and done, Telex and I will be checking out the Balblair Vintage 1990 second release, 25-year-old single malt. This one I reviewed a few years back, but has been high on Telex's wish list. So he now has a nice fat sample in hand. He's going to be checking this out. We'll sip it together, share some tasting notes, talk Balblair, talk about a bunch of other stuff. So we got a good couple hours of whiskey talk lined up. What y'all got in your glass? Let's get things going. What do we got here? We got Peter White, my Canadian friend. How are you? I hope you're not sweltering in as much heat as we are here in Philadelphia. It's been crazy here. 90 degree, 95 degree, crazy humidity. Hope it's a little cooler your way, buddy. Daniel, what's up, everyone? Hope you're well. Back at you, my friend. Coming in from the arid desert of Vegas, Mark Stengel. How are you, my friend? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Daniel's got a Balcones lineage single malt. All right, another Balcones. You are the Balcones man. Aaron 18 single or sherry cask. Incredible pour. Oh, wow. That sounds really good. Peter, I'm not sure if you've heard of this one, but I got this recently. This is Aaron single malt, the Bothy. It's quarter cask, 56.2%, non-chill natural. Excited about this. I've never had this one before. I've only had the Macramore and the 21 that I sampled last week with Telex. So super excited to get into this eventually. I can't imagine it'll be long before I crack that open. But an 18 sherry, that sounds fantastic, man. I'm glad you're enjoying that. Glad you are enjoying that. Hard to get rare breed in your area. No kidding. Really? Even the bourbon? Interesting. You will. I'll share a little bit about it in a few minutes. Oh, look who it is. It's Alan. Probably sending his comments from a nice cozy bed. It's got to be late for you, my friend. Thanks for swinging by as always, my friend. Cheers. Hope you're well, buddy. We got to set up a live sooner than later, man. It's been a while since we've got to chat whiskey. Hunting like crazy. Hey, everybody. We got some love for that Balblair. So do I. Exactly. I'll tell you a bit more about that when we're talking with Telex, but I was able to get those really, really good price probably about 2 years ago, man. Not so easy to find now. Oh, man. A chilly 110 degrees Fahrenheit in Vegas. Man, Mark, I hope your AC is working really well, my friend. That is brutal. Peter White's 88. All right, yeah, and everybody's feeling the heat right now, man. That's intense. Oh, it is. It definitely is. Definitely is. Oh, he found the Bothy at the LCBO today. Right on. I wonder what that's going for you. I actually got mine internationally. It was probably like $65 US, I think. It was British pounds, but like 40 British pounds, something like that. They recently did the rebrand. Here's what the bottle looks like. I don't know how familiar y'all are with Aaron. It's not a distillery I've had a lot from, but they've rebranded their whole look. I think they've done a pretty good job. Check out the bottle. Pretty funky, right? It's a lot different than your typical whiskey bottle. Not sure exactly what this is supposed to look like, but it also has Braille on it, which is pretty interesting. I kind of like it. And the Mockernmore was solid, so I'm really looking forward to this one for sure. All right. Well, let's not waste any time. Let's get into this rare breed rye. So I just saw it on the shelf, about $60 around me. And this is the first release of it. Wild Turkey, you know, they've had their rare breed bourbon for quite some time, so now they're doing a barrel proof rye. I gotta say, I haven't been a huge Wild Turkey rye fan. This has not quite been in my wheelhouse. I found it to be a little bit sweet, and the bourbon notes kind of come through quite a bit on these, which I guess is expected. But this one, pretty solid. I'm gonna put some in the glass. Tell you a couple thoughts I have on it. Off the bat, one thing that's really exciting about this is it's coming in at a reasonable price. It was 60 around my area, but apparently MSRP is like 51, 52. I mean, you're just not going to find it's whiskey that cheap these days, especially barrel proof stuff that's quality. It's NAS 112.2 proof or 56.1%. According to the internet, 2, 4, and 8-year rye all mixed in here. And I think you can tell. So, you know, last week we were sipping that Willet and I was singing the praises of that. This one, I'm not sure if it's quite Willet standard, but I can tell you right away off the note is it's a little bit hot on the nose. Zesty, rye bread, sweet. There's fruit, there's citrus. But that spice is right there in the background. It's working really well on this. Even though this is at 56%, I'm telling you, I'm going back and forth. The first sip I've had is usually hot, but I'm telling you, right after that, this thing gets really palatable. It's medium on the body. It's got that characteristic Wild Turkey thing. I'm dropping a review of this on Friday, but I think you guys will know what I mean. It's like cotton candy, caramel corn, kind of like a I don't know, cherry candy or strawberry. I get that on almost all Wild Turkey stuff, and it's even coming through on this rye. I especially get that on the Russells, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think they're doing a good job with this one. I don't think it doesn't blow my mind. I mean, this isn't a Michter's barrel proof. So like for folks who are really into that, I wouldn't say it's too comparable. That one I think has a lot heavier char, more caramel, more dark chocolate. This one, a little bit lighter, a little bit fruitier, a little bit more lively. But it drinks surprisingly well for a barrel proof. Now, that might just be because I'm used to drinking barrel proof by now, neat. But man, I can almost handle this without water, which is nice. So coming to a liquor store near you, especially if you're in the States, I'm not sure how quickly these things make it up to Canada or elsewhere. But I'm a big fan of Wild Turkey. It was one of the places I wanted to make sure I visited when I did the Bourbon Trail in 2019 now. Jeez, yeah, it's been over a year. And it was a cool spot for sure. I'd like to compare this actually with some of the other ryes that came out of Wild Turkey. So they have a 101 rye. I think the Russell's range has a 6-year rye and a single barrel. The single barrel I remember tasting and thought it was really good. I don't know exactly what the mash bill is on this, but you know, my tentative feeling is this is a solid rye for sure. It doesn't have those really, really sharp kind of herbal notes that maybe you get on others. It's a little bit on the sweeter side, but you know, I'm not complaining about it. I'm not upset with the purchase. I think this would stand up pretty well in a cocktail too, to be honest with you. Let me catch up and see what's going on. Yeah, I'll do that, man. I'll do that. I'll definitely do that. Glad you're comfortable. I wonder how hot's the summer over by you, Alan? You guys dealing with like oppressive heat in Scotland? Sorry, UK. I know you're like in the northern UK. Yeah, totally reasonable. You know, the other thing, the Wild Turkey rare breed is the barrel proof bourbon. That one is at incredibly good price. $45, $40. Man, you're hard pressed to find. And there's like 12-year-old whiskey in that one, if I'm not mistaken. You're really hard pressed to find barrel proofs that of good quality that cheap. I mean, there's the old Ezra, which is 7-year-old, but man, those are hard to find. You know, maybe Bullet, but I don't know if it's comparable or not. Any experience with Peerless? I've been seeing it around a lot lately. No, I have not. Are they the ones out of Evanston, Illinois, north of Chicago? No, that's few. Peerless, yeah, I've heard of it. I don't quite exactly remember where they're from. Anybody else know anything about Peerless? Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about that one. I think I had a sample of it once and I was pretty impressed. I got to get a full bottle one of these days. Mark likes the 101. Yeah, definitely. Oh, well, that explains a lot. So that's for the rare breed? The rare breed? Huh. That I didn't actually know. It makes sense, though. Like, this is not high. It's not incredibly spicy. The rye is there, but it's creamier. It's fruitier. I think you get more of the bourbon notes. But it's pretty good. I think for folks who like rye and like Wild Turkey, especially, this is going to be something to try. Prime Whiskey's in the house. What's up? Not tried so many bourbons yet. Maybe it's that time. Good deal. I think I owe you a video. If I'm not, was it you that sent me the video about doing the local thing? I'm so far behind on that. I got to do that. If it wasn't you, sorry, but thanks for swinging by, man. Happy Tuesday. Lost Cause. ECBP is only $10 more than Ezra's 7 here. Oh, geez, that's not even a question then. That's $10 well spent. I like this more and more I drink it. How many distilleries did you visit on the bourbon trail? So a pretty healthy amount. We did 3 tours. Full tours. The rest were just visits. I toured Willett. I toured Buffalo Trace. Both of those were really cool tours. I recommend it. The third one we did, was it Wild Turkey? Might have been Wild Turkey. But I also visited Old Forester, the Mixers, which is mostly just like a storefront bar where they had just tons of their stuff available to drink, which was cool. Swung by Jim Beam. Swung by Four Roses. I think I mentioned that. Heaven Hill. Couple other ones. Which other ones did I stop by? There's a couple more. But the ones that we spent the most time, because I'll be honest with you, it's a really cool experience, the Bourbon Trail. If anybody's ever done it before, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. It was cool. Like, you get to go. It's not exactly like a confined space by any stretch in Kentucky. Like, you literally have to. I mean, you're driving all around the state. So we got an Airbnb in Louisville, which had a bunch of places, and it was kind of a good home base because you drive like an hour down to Bardstown, where Willett was, where Heaven Hill was, and you could drive out towards Frankfurt and go to Buffalo Trace. There's a bunch of, they're just scattered about the state, but it's like, you know, you're spending your day driving around quite a bit, to be honest. And, you know, it's cool to go into all the places, see the grounds. We went to Woodford, that the grounds at Woodford, which is not one of my favorite whiskeys, it's absolutely amazing. It's all these just like basically fields set up for horses, and it's kind of this, upscale place. It was a really beautiful setting. But after a while, like, the gift shops don't exactly have like tons of stuff that you can only get at the gift shop. Like some places do like some releases randomly, and if you show up on the right day, you'll get it, like Willet, for example. But, all in all, I mean, how many distillery tours do you want to go on in Kentucky is really up to you. I think we kind of were like, we'll do one a day and then just visit the rest of them because, they take a lot of time, and, the difference between a lot of them, it's like you learn a lot, but, I personally wasn't looking to spend my entire day going to like 9 distillery tours. As fun as it sounds, after a while, it gets a little repetitive. So we made it count, and I'll tell you, the Buffalo Trace tour was super cool. That one was special. Willet was really cool too. Willet, it was like a contrast because the Willet distillery is like a much smaller place, not nearly as corporatized as Buffalo Trace was. And so you kind of got a different feel and experience there. It was a little bit more bare bones, which I actually kind of liked. A lot of these places are really big corporate complexes, even Wild Turkey to some degree. I could see like, we did 4 days, which was like about enough, maybe even a little bit more than enough. I could see like a nice 3-day thing where you set yourself up and maybe do 2 distillery tours a day and visit a couple that you really want to visit. Would be a good way to do it. But, an entire week, unless you really want to just visit every single bourbon distillery, like maybe that's your jam, you could do it. But, it gets a little repetitive. The other thing I'll just mention quick, having never been to the area, there was this, I went with my younger brother and we took my stepdad there for his 70th birthday. So we were like running around and, obviously going out and trying to hunt for elusive bourbons, right? Because you're like in Kentucky, it's the mecca of bourbon. So we were hitting up mom and pop shops. We're stopping in these little towns, checking out the liquor stores. Man, we didn't really find much of anything, to be honest. Like most of the places kind of were pretty much standard liquor stores. Like I have better liquor stores by my house than I found anywhere in Kentucky now. Of course, I didn't go to everywhere, but man, it was like you weren't coming home with those unicorn bottles that some folks might think that you would find there. But, I think it's a really fun experience. Again, you won't regret it. It's worth doing. I'd recommend doing it in like the spring or the fall. It gets hot as hell there in the summer. We went in June and like it was getting pretty hot. So I'd be curious if any of y'all have ever done the bourbon tour or totally disagree with everything I just said. But yeah, so hit up a bunch, but didn't do a lot of the tours. Didn't tour like everywhere. And then again, that was mostly just because we were also there for like hanging out with my stepdad and doing stuff like that. But we drank a lot of bourbon. I'll tell you that much. We did not fall short on that. Let me catch up. What else is everybody talking tonight? It's all over down here. I have a regular and 2 picks just to make sure. Oh, you're talking about rare breed or Peerless? I've always been curious, but never got a chance to try it. But like you said, $100 for 3 or 4 years steep. What is this? Oh, are you talking about the Peerless Rye? Boy, that is pretty steep. Rare breed is 13%. 13% mash. Is that barley? 13% barley in the mash? Daniel's got a question for the folks. I bought a bottle, not Joseph Magnus this week. Is that a bottle of Joseph Magnus? Sherry and cognac finish? Thought it would be different. Literally tastes like Old Forester 1910 to me, but twice the price. I don't know much about that stuff. Despite living in the District of Columbia where Joseph Magnus is made, which is what I'm assuming you're talking about, I actually never had any of it, nor visited the place. I went to the Ivy City distillery, but to drink gin. So I didn't do any justice by that, even though this is like, I was there right when I started seeing the Joseph Magnus stuff in a lot of places. I know I have had a sip of the Murray Club. Is that the one that you maybe get? I'm not sure. It was good, but it was very expensive. And probably wasn't something I was going to buy a bottle of because I had the chance to try it, but I've never even had the regular release. And I know that they've done some more specialty releases. So, I mean, if it tastes like Old Forester 1910, I wouldn't be upset. But yeah, for the price, I'm sure you were paying like $100 for that. Alan's heading off to bed. Peace, brother. Take good care, my friend. We'll see you around. I'll hit you up on email sometime soon, and we'll figure out a time to do a chat, man. That'd be fun. Heavy cherry and oak, no sherry flavor coming through. I haven't had much sherry bourbon, so I can't really speak on the Magnus. I'm not sure to tell you there. What did you end up paying for this? What was the name of the bottle specifically? Maybe the regular Magnus does have the cognac in it. I'm ignorant about the Magnus thing, but yeah, share a little bit of the specifics if you got it, man. I'd be interested to hear. I don't get much sherry on this, not Joseph Magnus. Do it and report back. Not Joseph Magnus. I think I'm missing the joke. You guys are gonna have to clue me in on it. Oh, okay. You realize you did. I thought this was like there was like some whiskey joke about not calling it not Joseph Magnus for some reason, and I wasn't in on it. Bourbon Bounty, what's up? Hey y'all, keep an eye on the channel. Bourbon Bounty and I are going to do a little whiskey tasting, little whiskey chat live. We'll taste probably some bourbons. Looking to do that in the next couple weeks. I'll be sure to post that. If you haven't checked out his channel, you should definitely do so. Cool to have you here, man. Got anything in your glass for Tasty Tuesday? Not sure about that. I think you're thinking of the rare breed bourbon, because the rye has to be 51% rye in order to be called a rye. So I think it might be the reverse. I think you might be talking about the bourbon there, Mark, but might want to double check that one. Yep. Triple cask finish 106. He's making fun of my typo. Y'all are crazy, man. He says he's got other spirits besides bourbon. Well, that's good. Maybe we'll talk some scotch too, man. It'll be fun. Y'all keep an eye out for that. Peter White. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think he might have reversed the bourbon and the rye. It would make sense that their bourbon would be 13% rye, but even that seems a little bit low. It might be actually 13% barley. I might not be sure. Mark will update us when he gets to it. In the meantime, let me tell you a little bit about this bad boy. So, for all of y'all that's been hanging out, talking whiskey with me for the last couple of years, know that I'm an evangelist for the ECBP. Not a hard thing to be an evangelist for, but nonetheless, absolutely love the stuff. I think for a high-end bourbon, it's probably the best bourbon on the market you can get for the price and the quality. For your top shelf stuff, for sure. So, as you know, these are 12-year-olds. They do 3 batches per year. And what I got my hands on this weekend, luckily, it was not easy. And if I would have probably showed up a day or so later at one of these shops I go to, it would have been gone. This is the latest release of the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. This is batch B520, 63.6%. As always, 12-year non-chill filter. They've changed the front label a little bit, but other than that, it's the exact same. I've had a couple pours out of it, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, this one is a real winner, man. I've not had a bad batch of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. I don't think one exists. There's just good and better. This is a better. This B520 is a better. What's really striking about this is that despite its 63.6%, you almost don't, it's not hot. First and foremost, it's not hot like every other Elijah Craig Barrel Proof release I get. Now, I don't mind that they're hot. I expect it. It's a freaking barrel proof bourbon, and I'm putting a little bit of water on it eventually anyways. This one, you can almost drink right out of the bottle. It is incredibly rounded. You don't get that intense punch of alcohol. It's incredible. Now, I'm not going to say that there's no bite, but there's, compared to any other barrel proof bourbon you get, this is one of the most palatable and well-rounded neat that you'll probably ever get your hands on. It's fantastic. Not only that, it's got the characteristics that you get off of all the Elijah Craig stuff, which is the heavy dark chocolate, the heavy caramel, the heavy vanilla, standard kind of bourbon notes. It's got a bit of that spicy cinnamon because there's a bit of rye in these mash bills for sure. This one, you get a bit of like a coconut Boston cream pie thing going on, which is like really enjoyable. Incredibly long finish, nice hug. Leaves you with like malted milk balls and chocolate, and it just sticks around forever. I think this is better than the A120 that came out in, pardon me, when was that now? I mean, it was released technically in January, but I don't think it showed up until March. It's better than that one. When I look back at some of the 2019 releases, which I thought were all great, I think this rivals the A119 from last year. If you guys pay attention to such things, I think it actually is better even than the C919, which I thought was the second best of last year, and it's definitely better than the B519. If you see this out in the world, B520, this is the bourbon for you, I'm telling you. I can tell you already, obviously I'm going to prepare to do a review of this relatively soon, but I think you guys know where I'll be going with this if you've seen any of my Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs, because when you take value into consideration, you can find these for the most part in the wild if you get it, if you're there at the right time, 60 to 75 bucks. Show me a better top shelf bourbon at that price. I think this beats anything. It beats Booker's for sure, which is going to charge you more and is half the age and way hotter. Not to hate completely on Booker's, but I'm telling you, this ECBP 520 is where it's at, y'all. Oh, man. I bought 2 of these for a reason. Because I know every time they come out, I try to get 2 because I know I'm going to need to have another one. I can tell you, like, it won't. I'm going to go through this really quick. I'm going to put a little bit more in here, actually. Man, it tastes like you just bit into like a really nice piece of gooey dark chocolate. It just sticks everywhere and hangs on. This is a really quality bourbon. They're doing great stuff at Heaven Hill, and they're really coming into their own. I think these Elijah Craig coming into their own with these ECBPs, man. They're just all so fantastic. I think the only one that was even close to being a letdown that I can think of was like the B batch from 2018, I think, or no, 2017. And like letdown compared to what? Man, fantastic stuff. Let me catch up here, y'all. Let me know if any of you guys are ECBP fans or have had this new one. Am I overreacting to this one? Is this one not just freaking amazing? High rye bourbon means rye is the secondary grain, corn has to be the first. Right. Who else is enjoying their nachos in Vegas? You know what? You guys might have started something here. This is gonna become a happy hour inside joke. I'm gonna have another sip of the nachos of Magnus B520 right here. That is what bourbon is all about. I like to call bourbon single grain blends. People loves the ECBP. Totally, man. Totally. I created a whiskey club at my work. Our round one samples, everyone is doing 40 to 43 cents. Then it was my turn. 1790 full proof. Stag Junior ECBP. Boy, man, did they graduate? What was the response, Lost Cause? I can't even imagine. I'm going to look for your next comment. It blew their minds. Oh, man. I can't even imagine what it would be like if that happened. Going back to those days when you really never knew anything about this barrel proofs business or high proof stuff in general, and you're just learning how to drink straight whiskey. You thought like a bottle of Jack Daniels was like really high, powerful flavor, and then you get this 65% monster. And God, the full proof 1792s, I mean, those get close to like 70%. Oh, Luis, what's up, man? Nice to see you. How are you? Happy Tuesday, my friend. Cheers. Hope to get a B520. Heard they're making them more allocated here in Cali because they switched to a new distributor. Oh, man, no. I don't know if you buy stuff online, but if you want a few pointers for places that maybe you don't know about, maybe you probably do if you're a whiskey drinker in California, but that ship in within the state, let me know. I think there's a place, if you check the website almost daily, that has it at a good price called Third Base Wine and Spirits. Might be a few others. I can think of them. Let me know if that's your jam. We can swap notes. I am way behind in the chat. Got your email about swaps. Thanks. Oh, cool. Yeah. I have another bottle of C919. C919 seems to be the one everybody loves. I thought the A batch was the best from last year, but still, I think I gave the C919 a 5 out of 5 because, come on, man. It was fantastic. It was like, that one was a very dessert-like, if my memory serves me right. Oh, man. There's a leather thing. There's this nice leather note in here, man. Fuck. I don't know. That is a incredibly good bourbon. 55, dude. What? That's a great price. That's like the best price you can get. You will never find Elijah Craig Barrel Proof cheaper than that. It's got to basically be MSRP. Yeah, man. A lot of love for the C919. Let me look back on this. Whoa. What was that? Yeah, I did give it a 5 out of 5. Which makes total sense because it's awesome. Oh, the Demon Hunter's in the house. You still on vacation, man? I've been seeing some epic pictures of your nature travels on Instagram. How are you, my friend? Happy Tuesday. What's in the glass? So we're hitting the bottom of the hour. Before I continue, let me just bring everybody up to speed on what's going on tonight. So yeah, just sipping a couple barrel proofs. After this, we're going to check out our good friend, Mr. Cloudy, the Glen Scotia single cask, which is, if you were here last week, you know that for the last couple of weeks, the flavor of this has been getting much more palatable, losing a bit of that funkiness. And then tonight on the Telex Malt Show, we are going to be checking out Balblair vintage release 1990, second release. This is a 25-year-old single malt Scotch. 46% ABV, non-chill natural color. This is from the good old days of Balblair. So if you've never seen an old Balblair, they used to do it like this instead of in the age statement stuff that they're putting out now, which looks a little bit more on the generic side. They have these funky fluorescent boxes. This one is amazing. I I got a sample into Telex's hand. So just like last week, we're continuing this now. We've been taking our show to the next level, proverbially. Going to be arming each other with samples. We'll be able to taste stuff live together, which I think will be a lot more fun than even what we were doing before. So I hope you guys enjoyed last week, where we did the Aaron 21. Balblair 1990 25-year-old is what is up tonight. Shortly after 9 o'clock, I will drop the link in the chat. As always, let's get back into it. What are you doing here, man? You better get down there. Get down there and send me some. I'll put a premium on it. Yeah. You got to get yourself some ECBP. I don't know how easy this is to get up in Canada, though. Driving home. Still haven't had the regular Elijah Craig. Yeah, the 12. No, it's not the 12-year. It's the small batch. That stuff is solid. Do you find these up by you, Peter? Is the Elijah Craig stuff, or the barrel proof in specific, something that like shows up? I always like learning about how easy or hard it is for folks to get these things in other countries specifically. I know when I was in Dublin last year, I remember seeing some of these bourbons that were like crazy prices. I mean, it's like what Scotch prices are here probably compared to a lot of folks in the UK. It's good. I feel the B batches trade less heat for a sweeter, less punchy profile than the C. I think that's probably accurate. I would really have to do a comparison. But I mean, if you remember the B from last year, the A and the C were like hazmat level, like high 60% proof. The B was lower. It was like 61. It was like one of the lowest proofed Elijah Craig barrel proofs that they had, that I had seen. This one, but it was this one against 63.6. So, you know, a little bit more, but still a couple percent less than what you normally see. Some of these releases have been 67. I think one was like over 68%, just like intense. Whoop, whoop, Beer Hound, what's up? Cheers from the OC, Philly to the OC. I'll raise a glass to you, my friend. Thanks for swinging by happy hour. Are you sipping on anything tonight? Got a beer? Got a whiskey? What's up? You should do ECBP comparisons if you. I should. I have bottles of. I got a good amount. I'll be honest with you. I have the C917, B518, C918, all of the A919, B519, C919, and then the new ones this year. Yeah, I got a bunch of them. So I should do that. And we got 17 folks in the house, man. This is good. Good lively happy hour chatting ECBP. Let's do it. Keep an eye out, y'all. Bourbon Bounty and I are going to be chatting whiskey in the next week or two. Anvo look great. Yeah, it is. It really is. Oh, man. I'm jealous. Right before COVID hit, in April of this year, I was supposed to go do Banff. Friend of the happy hour, Jason Fisk, had me all hyped up about it. I was going to go to Banff, and then I was going to drive to Vancouver. I was just about to buy the tickets, and then the entire coronavirus thing hit the fan in late February, early March, and so I had to postpone it, hoping to do it again next year, or do it next year rather, not again. Okay, so not exactly an easy thing to get your hands on. C917 is one of the best I've ever had. I've never had the batch 4. I think I have a batch 7 or a batch 6, which is before they were doing the 3 annuals or whatever in the old bottle. I also have a regular bottle of the 12, which I haven't opened yet, but I'm going to do it eventually. Kind of saving it for a special occasion. But yeah, y'all, keep an eye on the channel because I'm going to do this week. My review on Friday will be of the rare breed, this new rare breed rye and the rare breed bourbon. So I kind of did them both in the same video. If you're interested in hearing a little bit more about it, check it out. Post on Friday as always. I'll be doing an ECBP review shortly after that. I've been doing a lot of bourbon lately. You know, like I've been saying, man, it's just summertime gets me on the bourbon. But we're going to change that up right now because it is time to hit up Glen Scotia. Single cask. You guys know the story by now. But if there's any noobs in the house, a quick review. Bought this bottle, upwards of 3 months ago. Single cask from the distillery, hand paddled, funkiest nose ever, cloudiest whiskey ever. Long story short, we've been tasting it each week to see if it's gotten any better. It has been getting better, no doubt about it. Last week especially, I think I noticed that, which is when I actually bottled one up for Telex. So he's got one now. Maybe that'll make an appearance. I don't know. Maybe tonight, maybe some other week. He'll tell us if I'm totally crazy or not. But anyways, I did get a chance to talk to Glen Scotia Distillery about this one, all of that. I do forget which week we're in. I think this is week 14, week 13, week 14. So this, we're in that 3-month range. I'm going to get some of this in the glass, see what's happened. My general line on this is that it's either a note that I've just never had that is just throwing me off entirely, or it's something wrong with this. There are a lot of opinions amongst the happy hour crew. There it is, still there, but it is much more diminished. And as I've said, it's the nose and the finish on this that have kind of thrown me off. The actual palate itself is freaking great. Here, let's do a cloud check. As you guys can see, I mean, it's still cloudy, but it's, it's probably tapered down a little bit, maybe even. I don't know. This is by definition the most non-chill filtered whiskey I've ever had. Emily Chambers, good to see you. Happy Tuesday to you, my friend. You got anything good in the glass? You'd have to drop some serious Coin and Alberta on scotch and some stuff. Yeah. I can imagine. Still chatting ACBP. Great. This is a good chat. The earliest bottle I have is C918, and that's what made me fall. Yeah, C918 was really good. Hashtag fuzzy cask. That's the truth. Here's how this bad boy's sitting in the glass. Yeah, still nice and cloudy. Scotch mist. You don't even got to put water in this to come with Scotch mist. The bottling on this is 56.5 ABV. All right. Still, man, underneath it, I'm telling you, it's tamed down. This is not what it was 2 months ago, not even 2 weeks ago. It's all come into a lot more balance, finally. This is, I think, the whiskey I was hoping for. I mean, it's still there. Again, I've characterized it as kind of like a artificial kind of children's vitamins, those kind of like fruity chalkiness and a little bit of shoe polish. But now what I'm noticing, there's a lot more of a creamy kind of caramel. There's a lot of complexity here. Rich sherry notes, dried fruit, raisin, fig, some bright red fruits beneath it. Here we go. Oh man, that is really good. And then it still comes in. I'm telling you, it's gotten better. It's even better than it was last week, which is better than it was 2 weeks ago. I think oxidization has worked wonders on this. It's still got that funky note, but I'm telling you, it is 70% less of what it was. Man, what a mystery. Tropical fruit coming into this too now. There's like a kiwi, vanilla, dry fruit, apricot, orange, tangerine orange. Well, not tangerine. It's more of like a blood orange. If you know what those taste like. Right at the end, that funky note's there, but not bad. I think we're getting better. This is going to become less interesting the better it gets. Oh, man, but it is all in good fun, as always. I'm going to let sit on this Joseph thing. Oh, you're talking about that triple cask? Yeah, man. There you go. Put a cap on it. Half a bottle not dead yet. No, Jack, what's up, buddy? No, we're still alive, man. I still have 20/20 vision, at least as far as I know. We're doing okay. We're doing okay. Thanks for swinging by. Oh, yeah, that's killer price, man. Those are, that's must buy. Plain and simple. You see an Elijah Craig barrel proof at $60 or less. It doesn't matter what batch it is. It almost doesn't matter if you have a bottle already. Just get another. You're never going to be disappointed with it. I'm going to put a drop of water on our Glen Scotia here. I would say let's look and see if any Scotch mist appears, but what's the point? You wouldn't know if it appeared or not because it's already there. Man, I picked up a Ben Riach 10. Ooh. Never had it. Bummer. Yeah, I don't know much about Ben Riach, other than they have so many releases that I want to try. It sounds like the 10's a little bit of a dud, but is it just boring, or is it kind of a one or two trick pony? I like your tasting note crush vitamins in flooded basement. Oh, right. Yeah, man. I mean, you know it, right? Like if you think back to like any time you've had to have a chewable medicine or a chewable vitamin where like it's just this chalky, almost like Pepto. Like you know how that is. Yeah, man. It's weird. Some weird stuff. Stephen Connor, how are you? What's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Thanks for swinging by happy hour. We're just sipping some Glen Scotia single cask. Checking in on it after whatever I said, week 13, week 14 of the ongoing saga. Stephen, I don't recall if you were here last week, but I know that you are quite a connoisseur of whiskey. Have you ever seen a whiskey this cloudy in the bottle? Be really curious if you have. You may already know a bit about this. I don't know how many times you've been part of the ongoing saga here, but would curious what your opinion would be just on the look of that. Yeah, exactly right. By the time I get to the last sip, I'm like, oh, this was worth the $100+ I paid for it. You should join us tonight. I'm sure he'll appreciate it. As I mentioned, we're going to be in about 20 minutes or so. We'll be checking this one out. Telex and I have finally got some samples in each other's hands, and after a couple months of doing our little whiskey tasting show, we're going to be tasting something together each week. So I have had this bottle for some time. I sent Telex a sample. This is a 25-year-old Balblair. He's excited about it because we've been talking about this for quite some time. Even when I lived in DC, we were supposed to get together, and this was going to be one of the things I shared with him. We just never got the chance, and so he's looking forward to trying this one. I'm looking forward to enjoying it with him. So I'll drop the link into the chat. Probably be right in about 20 minutes. So. Yeah, no, you're right. So I know I keep procrastinating this. I got some samples. I have 3 bottled up. I think your first note on this is it'll be as messed up. That note will be there for you, for anybody who smells this for the first time. Yeah, man, glad you could join too. Really enjoy chatting with you, brother. And really enjoy looking at your Glentronic collection, which is noteworthy, to say the least. I'm all Muser. It's not bad, but I remember it being so good when I didn't really have any experience. But now I'm hunting for the complexity. It's just not there for in the car. Yeah, you know, I think that happens. I've never had a Ben Riach, and I've obviously so not had the 10-year. Seems like a good place to start, but I hear you on that. It's kind of one of these things that happens in the journey, right? Like once you get to this point where you feel like you're seeking out more depth and complexity, higher ABVs, you know, you can sometimes find yourself not tasting some of those younger ones. I've actually been thinking for some time about trying to go back to some of the more youthful entry releases, like, yeah, maybe like a Ben Riach 10, which quite frankly, I've just not been really focused on lately. I mean, when I first got into Scotch, those first couple of years, I was buying, you know, anything I could that looked remotely interesting just to try it. And like, I don't want to lose sight of that. I definitely want to try to go back and appreciate everything. So yeah, if I find it at a good price, it might be something I'll grab. This is barrel flavoring. Yeah, it's like literally chewing on a barrel. I have, but it usually means that it's bad. Either too much direct sunlight in or oxidization. There you go. What's interesting is the folks at Glen Scotia didn't directly say that, but they basically were like, you know, this is what it comes like out of the barrel, et cetera, et cetera. This is because it's a hand filled direct from the distillery bottling. They did say, however, that it sounded like there was something off with it based on the funky notes I was getting. But I do have some of this in Telex's hand. He'll be checking it out at some point in time. We'll see what he says. But as I mentioned, yeah, there is, it has gotten better once we got halfway through, but this has been a long and fun but agonizing journey. Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. We're going to figure out how to do it. And there's no better way to do it than with this because, come on, right? Yeah, I'm not. This Balblair is definitively not Joseph Magnus. Oh, man. Killing me, dude. That's funny. Yeah, we're going to check out the not Joseph Magnus Balblair 1990. And I'll definitely have some samples of the Glen Scotia not Joseph Magnus single cask. Yeah, well, that's smart. Words of wisdom from Stephen Connor. Had I found this on the shelf in a store, I would have probably thought twice. But I did buy it online, and so this is what happens. I've honestly had really good success. I'd be curious if any of y'all have like had any negative experiences with buying whiskey online in terms of quality. This is the only bottle I think I've ever got that it was suspect. I'm not quite sure what I'm not quite sure what happened in the case of this, and maybe we'll never know. But as far as buying online, I've never really had any issues personally. But my brother originally went with Ben Riach 10. Bernie Moss intensely peated. Speaking of Ben Riach 10, any of you guys had the Ben Riach 10 Imperial Proof, which is like a cask strength 10-year-old? I just saw one on the shelf this weekend. About $90 American. Looked really interesting. Felt like that's something I should probably buy. But I didn't. I may go back. Be curious if anybody's had that. In any event, Glen Scotia. This bottle, man. Great mouthfeel, though. What is Bernie Moss anyway? Yeah, enlighten us. I'm actually not sure. Oh, interesting. Okay. Trooper, what's good? Happy Tuesday, Tasty Tuesday, Tuesday Booze Day, whatever you want to call it. It is Tuesday. And honestly, this Tuesday couldn't have come fast enough for me. It's been a rough week already. Yeah, it's just started. Oh, nice. I've never used caskers. They, of course, living in PA, they don't ship here. How are their prices, though? People saying hi to Trooper. Yeah, Trooper, good to have you come by. Yeah, we're getting close to 9, which means it's almost time for Telex and Malt Show, which will be a lot of fun this week. we're really excited that we're finally getting to taste some things together. I think the damn coronavirus prevented us from doing this for some time. So excited to get that going. Oh, I should mention, last week, a couple of y'all were encouraging me to do a Patreon. I did start looking in on it. It looks like something I might be able to do and set up relatively soon. I just didn't get a chance to this week, so appreciate the encouragement on that. I'll keep you guys posted if I set that up. I forgot to mention that I was actually spending a little time looking at that after last week's chat. No issues online there. Yeah. I was a little bit hesitant because when it first, when I lived in DC, DC's super liberal when it comes to getting stuff shipped to you. You could get stuff shipped from basically anywhere in the United States. I built so much of my early Scotch collection on online shipping, particularly from a couple shops in California, a couple in New York, that just had fantastic prices, like way cheaper than it was on the street in DC. Because DC, international city, it's tourist prices almost everywhere. Like you really, it's not the easiest thing to get your hands on stuff at a reasonable price there. So I've been a firm advocate of it. I mean, I live in Pennsylvania now where it's a lot harder because PA is state-run stores. And while they get good stuff at some reasonable prices, for the most part, you just don't get necessarily the variety. It's a little bit harder to get your hands on like everything you want when you want it, which, is one of the drawbacks. Thankfully, being a Philadelphia resident, I can just hop on over the bridge over to New Jersey, where there's a lot of great independent stores, family-run shops, and being a member of what's called the Philadelphia Whisky Society, we get a couple of discounts at a few places. It works out really well. I've had good experiences buying online too. Had a wrong edition Kilhoman sent to me once, but they sorted it out quickly. Good deal. Tagging on Insta. Don't get Springbank in my area, so that's how I source all bottles or something. 90 to 100, that's a good price. Those at Springbanks have went up quite a bit. Unfortunately, but Springbank 15, a couple months, like I want to say 6 to 8 months ago, I found a couple bottles of like the 2016 release of that in the old like black boxes, which were under 100. It was like 95. Now they're like 150. The Springbank 10 is upwards of $90 almost everywhere I see it. Lagavulin too. Lagavulin prices I've seen go up. Part of this I think might be the tariffs, and part of it might be, I don't know, just market. But yeah, seeing it around my area too. Ooh, Trooper's not messing around tonight, man. That's a good pour. Any of y'all got your hands on those Kilkerran 15s yet? And I would love to try one of those. Alan, whiskey friend who was in here earlier, I know he's gotten his hands on those. Lucky man that he is. He's got the chance to get a bunch of those over in the UK. I have not seen them anywhere in the States, and they're like, I think the only place I saw that would ship was like $400. And I was like, all right, I can't do that. Cool. Henry Hammer. Yeah, man. Good. Always good when the troop's in the house, man. Glad you could join us for happy hour, buddy. All right. I'm going to do a little bit more. So as I mentioned to you guys, if you're not familiar with these or interested in my like dumb 2 cents on them, I'm doing a double review that'll come out on Friday of the Rare Breed Rye and the Rare Breed Bourbon, both of which I am a fan of. I think for the price, the bourbon is stellar. Check it out. And I'm going to sip a little bit of this Rare Breed Bourbon as we await the bat signal from the mighty Telex of Severna Park, Maryland, who is going to be Tasting a sample I sent him of the Balblair 1990 25-year-old single malt second release. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I had to revisit my old review of it because it's been about 2 years. I think about 2 years since I had it, close to 2 years. Since I reviewed it, I should say, not since I had it. And so I'm really going to be curious. I think this is going to be, if I was going to betting man, I think this is a 4.5 to a 4.75 on Telex's scale. We'll see what he has to say in probably about 30 minutes. But I haven't bought a Springbank 10 since they jumped over 70. Yeah, that's what I mean. The Springbank 10, which is something that like, that was a $60 bottle, man. It's like 70, 80 now, or not 70, 80. It's 80, 90 now. It's intense, man. I wanted to get another bottle because that's a bottle I had relatively early in my journey. Don't know if I fully appreciated it. I remember liking it, but I remember thinking like, that was always one of those, like, I got to revisit this when I have a little bit more of a developed palate. And now I see the price. I'm like, man, I'm not going to spend $90 on a 10-year-old Springbank. Too much. Way too much. Meanwhile, Trooper is getting his hands on Kilcurran 12s. $658. Come on, man. That's crazy, man. Peter White. Yeah, this is the 116.8. So they upped the proof, right? Because the older versions with the old label, I think, were less proof. Maybe I'm not right. Because does yours look like this? I bet it's got the different label on it, right? This one I like. Like, I don't think it's the best, but I think for the price, for a nice quality barrel proof, it's got some older stuff in it. I think it's a good one. The rye I also think is really solid. Again, they're not world beaters, but I think they're really good, mid-shelf, high end of the mid-shelf, barrel-proof bourbons. They're made with quality. They got some older stuff in them. I think the rye has up to 8-year-old rye in it, which is like super solid. If you're going to get it, I'd get it now because I can imagine subsequent batches that are going to come out over the next couple of years are probably going to be a little bit less on the age. That's usually just how these things go. Conversely, the rye seemed to up the proof, so I'm not sure. Yeah, Emily, do that. I'm not sure if you're in the States or not, but if you are, starting to see this around. I found this in southern New Jersey, about $60. But that's actually on the high end of the price. I bought it because I just wanted immediately when I saw it, I knew I had to get it. But I think you might be able to get your hands on it relatively soon. So Telex is up with his short review right now. He's doing a Cardew Gold Reserve Game of Thrones. He's still got more Game of Thrones whiskeys to do, y'all. So if you're interested in that, he's doing that now. But we're going to. He's not even reviewing the Balblair. He's going to get in. He's going to taste it right when we start. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. Oh man, I know. I totally agree. I'm really excited for that though. For those of you who don't know, Ardnahoe is a new Islay distillery, which either is already releasing stuff or will be soon. And it's Jim McEwen, who is the former master distiller at Bruichladdich, the one who really, maybe I'm speaking out of turn here, correct me if I'm wrong, but really was the one who turned Bruichladdich into what it is right now. He's also the designer of the first 4 Black Art releases, which are some of the best whiskeys I've ever had. He was at Bowmore, I want to say, in the way before, before the Bruichladdich years, if I'm not mistaken. But really did a number with Bruichladdich, took that project on. It was literally a mothballed nothing and built it essentially from scratch and turned it into the powerhouse whiskey it is today. He's good. There's a great And on Amazon Video, Prime Video, if you guys get that, there's a great new Scotch documentary which features him prominently. They don't talk about Ardnahoe, but they talk about a lot about Bruichladdich. Excited to see what comes out of there for sure. Should be a lot of fun. I'll check you over there too, Stephen. Thanks for swinging by the happy hour, man. Always good to have you in the house. Yeah, Casey Single Barrel is awesome. You know, every single time that ever comes up on this channel, I get on my soapbox. Knob Creek Single Barrel for mid-shelf, best bourbon on the mid-shelf, for sure. I think it's better than the Rare Breed. By a lot, but enough. It's that 9-year age statement and a little higher ABV. Profile is different, definitely. As I always say, like I get a kind of a carnival flavor with Wild Turkey. It's sweet, confectionery fruits. It's like cherry licorice, cotton candy, marshmallow, stuff like that. Good to see you again, Mark. Thanks for swinging by, buddy. Have a good rest of your eve. Hope to see you next week, man. Let me check in on Telex, see what the good word is. I'm assuming he's going to be relatively ready to go here sooner than later, probably in the next 10 minutes or so. I'll be sure to drop that in the chat. Oh, I think you guys are, you're talking about the long row, or you're talking about the, the Ben Riach. Is it the Ben Riach? Ben Romick, maybe. I'm getting behind on him. I've never had Glenrothes. That's something I'm really looking forward to trying. I saw the Whiskey Maker's Cut relatively recently at Glenrothes, and the 12. The 12, I think, was like less than $60, 50 some bucks. Anybody have any good opinion about Glenrothes? Is it worth the distillery deep dive? Peter White, Alberta is the long row capital. Oh man, lucky you. You get some of those red, the long row reds. Oh man. I got to try the long row red, the Cabernet. Oh, I had that in London last year at a whiskey bar. Oh wow, that was something else. I also had the long row 18, which might be the best 18-year-old whiskey I've had. And I know that's saying a lot. If I could get a bottle less than $200 some, I would probably buy it and review it and drink it and enjoy it. I have just not had they're just so expensive. But that I remember having that long row 18 in London, and I was blown away. I was at a whiskey bar. Also got to try a couple other things there that I'd never had before, but man, that was what a whiskey. What a whiskey. So get some mixed opinions on the Glenrothes. Peter White's not a huge fan. Oh, we were talking about Springbank 15 when you saw the 15. Oh, yeah. Dude, Springbank 15 is awesome. I don't know. I'm not saying it's $150 awesome, which is what it's going for nowadays. That's a lot, man. And I've heard very decidedly mixed reviews on the Springbank 18, which first and foremost is way too expensive. It's like $190 to over $200 in some places. The 15 is a much more sherried whiskey. I love it, but with the way Springbank prices are going these days, it's tough. Limited budget, but stuff is hard to find. I'm looking for 4 specific things. Right on, man. Cheers, Emily. From Philly to Florida, I will raise a glass to you. Be curious what you're into. Are you more of a Scotch or bourbon drinker? Anything in specific you're hunting for these days? Would love to hear about it. As would everybody in the chat. We still got 12 folks in, man. We are heading past 9 o'clock. Always fun each and every week with you guys. I will let you know when Telex is ready for action, when the link is up. Oh, wow. 17, 18 year? The oldest I've seen is like a, what is the oldest? I've seen the 12 Pinot. Most of them are like 10 or 11s, at least around my parts. Wow. You guys are in the, you are in the long road capital of North America. Why is that? I wonder why. That's such an interesting anomaly, man. It's one of those weird things, man. It's like, sometimes I wonder about the logic of distribution. I think of Blanton's, for example. Blanton's is a Buffalo Trace single barrel, like the original single barrel bourbon, but they have a ton of these variations. They got a Blanton's Gold, which is awesome. They have a Blanton's Black. They have a Blanton's Green. They have a Blanton's Straight from the Barrel, which is one of the best bourbons I've ever had, but you can only get it in the UK. You can't get it in the United States. When I went to Buffalo Trace and did the distillery tour, I was all hyped because I'm like, oh man, they're going to have at least something, some type of Blanton's outside of the regular single barrel. Nothing. I watched them making bottling single barrel Blanton's, but it's like, come on, man! Like, how is the not from the the straight from the barrel not something that's like readily available here in the United States? It's a real bummer. Right. So it looks like Telex is going to be ready relatively soon here. I'm just getting the bat signal from him. Excited. I'll drop the link in here in just a sec. Yeah, that's what I've heard. The one that's easy to get is that long row. It's the peated NAS one, 46%er. That one I feel like you can find relatively easy. The other stuff I find somewhat easy is Hazelburn. Just one moment, y'all. I got a link to share. Telex is live. Link is in the chat, my friends. We are going to be doing the deep dive, checking out Balblair 90, 25-year-old. This is going to be a real treat. I'm so excited for Telex to finally try this. We've been talking about it back and forth for quite some time. Grab the link in the chat, copy, paste, do what you got to do. Head on over to Telex, the Whiskey Text channel to join us for the Telex and Malt Show. We can keep the chat going. It is still Tasty Tuesday. We are just getting warmed up. Let's get into it. As always, I want to appreciate y'all. Love the whiskey community that we have here, a lot of you are here every Tuesday. It's so much fun chatting with everybody. Look forward to continuing to do this. And I look forward to chatting about Balblair and hanging out with our good friend Telex over on his channel for our show. So link is in the chat. With that, I'm going to sign off. I'll catch you guys in about 10 minutes.